I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I've made a couple changes to the layout of things. My cactus is blooming. Haven't seen any signs of damage really at all, or pests. Oh my goodness, this is rooted so well. It's big watering time. Hello friends, and welcome back to another plant chores video. We've got a lot to do this week. I've got several days of plant things that I want to get up to. Also because I am leaving to go to Malvern. Well, I mean, by the time this is up, I will already be in Malvern. But I'm leaving my plants for 10 days while I'm in Malvern setting up my show garden and all that stuff. And I need to get myself ready to go, get my plants ready for me to be away for 10 days during warmth. It is supposed to be very, very hot this week for the UK. It's supposed to get up to like 27 degrees Celsius, which is like what, 80, which like I know is not hot for a lot of y'all, but like it's warm for here, especially it's the warmest it's been this year, and so I want to make sure that everything doesn't go wrong this week, but also while prepping to go away. And it might, I don't know if it's going to thwart my plans for watering, because I tend to, in general, I know I've talked about this like several times over, but in general, before I go away, I like to leave my plants to dry out a little bit, and then I'll give them like a massive water sort of the night before or the morning of me leaving, depending on what time I'm going, and like giving everything a massive water then. And in order to not like overwater things, I like let things dry out completely, or like stay dry for a little bit in the week running up to things, because I don't want to overwater things. So I don't know if that's going to be possible this week. If it is so hot, I don't want things getting too dry. So we will see. We will play it by ear. But I've also got some like updates on my downtown plant club stuff. I've got some moss pole stuff to do, general planty maintenance stuff, and we can do it together. It'll be fun. So yeah, before I get into it though, I want to say if you're new here and you don't know me already, hi, my name is Emma and I make houseplanty content all over the internet. So if you want to follow along with my houseplanty journey and maybe learn something along the way, stick around, watch some more of my videos, and subscribe to my channel. If you are not new here, welcome back. I really appreciate you returning. Now let us get into the plant things. So I know I just said that I'm not going to be watering my plants, but there are some caveats in that. So things in semi-hydro, I can water during this time. If they get dry, I'm going to water them because I can just refill the reservoir before I go, and it doesn't matter about sort of, you don't have the problem of overwatering in the same way as with soil. And also my moss poles, those I feel like I should not let dry out all the way this week, because as soon as moss gets too dry, it gets hydrophobic and it's harder to water, and I'll have to take them all to the shower, and like I did that, like a month ago, and it's just a lot of work, and I don't fancy doing that. So if I can possibly water them, like leading up to this week and making sure they're staying very, very hydrated, that would be my preferred. And there's possibility I might go in with some saran wrap on some of the ones that are a little bit more spacious. Like I don't think I could do it on my Repotting or Tetrasperma. That would, like, there's just too many leaves to go on with cling film around it. But things like my dubia and maybe my majestic, those could possibly whatever I was trying to say, those could be wrapped and be fine. But I will do that, I guess, on Thursday, because I leave on Friday morning. I'm so excited, so nervous, there's so much going on. But yeah, I think I'm going to start with some moss pole watering because they are looking a little bit and feeling a bit dehydrated. So start with that, and we will see where the rest of this week takes us. I did get myself a new watering can, actually. If you'd seen my stories over on Instagram, I was keen to get a new one because my other one, it was just getting so like dribbly, and like, I don't know if it was just not say poor design, but like, I don't know, it just like wasn't, it was very messy, and like, I know I'm already a like slightly messy person, and so not having not having a clean watering can, probably not ideal. And so I put a thing on Instagram asking for people's recommendations in watering cans, and I ended up getting this guy because, I don't know, I'm picky because a lot of watering cans, especially for indoor plants, are quite small. They're like 1 liter or something. I'm like, that's not enough for me to be able to do much plant care. And so I wanted something that was decently sized, but also had like a long spout for accuracy. And this is what I ended up with, which I do quite like. It is a 3.5 liter, which is more than before, and it's got like 2 places you can hold it, on the side or the top, and it fits quite a lot. The spout isn't as long as my other one, but it does the job. Like, it can get into most places, and I can still water things in tighter spaces with my other one. I'm not getting rid of my other one, I'm just not using it as much, I don't think. But I am currently going in with some fertilizer water on these moss poles, just to make sure that they are pre-hydrating before the craziness of the heat this week. Can get into that one back there. Normally I try to like fill these cups up maybe 2 or 3 times over in order for them to get enough hydration to sort of go through the whole pole, especially these like massive ones. This one is super thick, and I don't think I ever make the pole like fully moist, which, I mean, maybe isn't the best thing, but gravity does like pull it down, and it's fine. I'm not worried about it. My Repotting tetrasperm is obviously still growing absolutely fine. I never put water down at the bottom of the pot, like in the soil, and it's fine. So yeah, all good here. Just gotta make sure the moss poles and semi-hydro stuff as well. My Simbad is a very thirsty one. Semi-hydro stuff stays hydrated for now. I should do the ones in the living room as well. Oh, I can also show you, I've made a couple changes to the layout of things. I mean, not massive changes, but I did do a big rearranging. I don't have this lamp that was here anymore. I have moved it after I did my IKEA cabinet rearrange. I wanted to move it about, and I did, and I can show y'all what's up. Oh, okay, spill a little bit of water. That's fine. It doesn't matter. But basically, in this section now, I've got this mother grow light, the Plant Spectrum 32, which was here. I've moved it out here, which, I mean, it's kind of, it's not like it's in the way, but it is like slightly more precarious, just like being out on the corner of the sideboard. It's fine. And then I've got the Life Spectrum light in this corner now, because I wasn't really using it in the bedroom as much as I thought I would. And so Light Spectrum is here. And so all of these get light. Less so at the tops now though, especially for these ones. Actually, this light, because it's a little bit taller, it gives my Regal and stuff ever so slightly more light, like not tons, but a little bit more. And then this is where I've put the lamp in the corner here. So this is the Sansi bulb, and I've pointed it up at the ceiling. And so it goes up at the ceiling, bounces off, and kind of goes and gives this corner a little bit of light, because otherwise this corner is very dark. I've only recently done this, basically in the afternoon after I did my cabinet. I sorted this out and got this to a new place, and now I can have things up here. I've put my, oh gosh, what's it called? My Snow Queen puff off a couple of things that I want to get rid of from the cabinet. I still got my Aglaonema Silver Bay and my Syndapsis Exotica up there, but basically since it's got more light, I can put more things and it should be okay. I probably will once I get rid of those 3 that I'm not as keen on, but I don't have time to like ship them out this week or even think about figuring out how to get rid of them, so I'm just gonna not, and it should be fine. But I am happy with this new setup, and it just generally, this light goes on all the time. I did get myself, because I only have a 4-gang power strip here, smart power strip, I did get a 6-gang to go in this area because this light is currently in the plug that the fan was in, and I don't want the fan to like stop running completely because it's helping with airflow in my cabinet, which is important if you've got like sort of higher humidity. Airflow is really, really necessary because it can stop things like fungal, bacterial infections going on in your plant. So that's another thing that I want to put up this week and get sorted, really. Also going to water the moss poles of the things in the cabinet. Da-da-da. Because I am not nearly as good at keeping these hydrated, but they are equally as important. And I have a cup that I want to put on this one, so I'm just going to unclip a couple of those. And I've figured out a way to hold the cup in here because they're like usually too big. So I've got a bit of the garden Velcro, and I literally garden Velcro the cup into place around the pole, and so it's literally attached all together, and like it does stick out a little bit down there, so it's not ideal, but if it means that I can actually water this pole, it makes such a difference, and I want to be able to water the pole. So let's there we go. And so now that can be watered and will hopefully hydrate. Another something I'm going to do quickly that I meant to do last week, I just didn't, is my variegated dragon scale. I want to pop it into a proper self-watering pot instead of just being in this cup. I feel like we're at that point now, and it's time to do that. This is just a pot of semi-hydro that I want to boil, which is another one of my tasks for this week. But oh my goodness, shake off that. It's got very decent roots in there, and then also that looks like a bit of new growth. So that is fantastic. So now I've just got some clean semi-hydro. Not that the other stuff wasn't clean, but just in case, I prefer to use fresh stuff. It just feels nicer to do. So if we pop you in about that high, I feel like that makes sense. There we go. That looks good. And I can pop some water in it so we're nice and hydrated. There we go. I'm just gonna pop it in where the black velvet is because I don't think that one needs quite as much light. So we can put that in there, and then it's getting nice bright light from the Barina light, and I hope we'll do better there. Should I put it in the middle more? I could swap it with that guy. And then the light's a little bit more even like that. Yeah, that should do. Also, quick update on my variegated Musiflorida. It's got some new growth in there. Very exciting. So I did repot all of the plants that I got from Downtown Plant Club. I repotted all of them into fresh soil that I was like more familiar with. So it's in my mix now, and it's in a clear pot as well, which makes me feel a bit better. But it's got some new growth, which is very exciting, and I can show you what I've done with the others as well. So because I wanted to keep quite a close eye on them and like still keep them quarantined and apart from the rest of my collection, but still getting the sort of good light that I feel like they would really benefit from, because I could just like leave them in my bathroom and like let them quarantine in there for 2 weeks, but it's a windowless bathroom and there's no light, and so it's probably not the healthiest for them. So I decided to pop them into a plastic tote box, and this is where my pond box was originally, but I have moved that into the office because I don't need to check up on my pond box every day. I just don't. And so I've moved it in there, and I've actually got some more Barina lights that I'm going to put in over there above the pond box, because right now it's not really getting close grow light like it was here, and I do want it to still get the grow light, so I need to do something. But I have put these guys in here, and because this is the bedroom, this is where my, like, it's right behind my office, I have access to these all the time, and I can like make sure to check on them and make sure they're still doing okay, because I have heard some comments from y'all on my Downtown Plant Club video that the things like the Black Magic are difficult alocasias, and I would like to not have them do poorly, so I want to be able to keep an eye on them, at least for the start. But like I said, I went through and I repotted everything into my own soil or semi-hydro. So for the alocasias, I popped them into semi-hydro in self-watering pots. So this is the Odora Batik in here, and doing really, really well. I have also heard from y'all in the comments that it is very, very easy, and also it's like really affected by light, and so as long as I keep it in higher light situations, I should be able to get it to grow more variegated again. Ooh, are we thirsty now? Yeah, I think we are thirsty. I'll grab my watering can. See, it's good that I'm doing this and checking up on them. So I will give this one a little bit of water, but doing really well in here. I haven't seen any signs of damage really at all, or pests, but it's good to do this just in case. Keep them separated, keep them away from anything, like, because I could have pests in my collection and then I could be introducing them into these new plants. I don't think I do, knock on wood somewhere. I don't think I do, but it's possible, and I would like to not if possible. Oh my god. This is like way over the top of the box. No wonder it was pushing itself to the side. It's probably, I mean, I'm gonna keep it in here just through while I'm away, because I would rather it be in a confined space where I can like have it be a little bit safer just for the time being. But as soon as I get back, this one is gonna need to come out of the box because it is too tall. So Joy. And then the Black Magic also, okay, so this one's still like full of water. Interesting. It's interesting to see. Maybe that one was just a bit of a drier plant, the Odora, but the Black Magic has proper perked itself up, because when I got it, it was very like to the side, but now it is all straight and flat, and the new leaf that's coming in is gorgeous and dark and shiny, and like just doing really, really well. Maybe this is one that I just need to keep in a very high humidity situation for a while. You can see in this box that it is like this condensation on here. It is damp, and so it's a very nice high humidity area, and probably does help these plants a little bit. I mean, I don't think this one needs to be in here, but my Hoya Stardust Carnosa, this guy, honestly, hasn't really done much, changed much. You can see, because it's in such a high humidity spot, the roots are coming out a little bit on there. I don't want it to do too much of that, so again, this is one that I probably should take out quite soon, but repotted it in my own anthurium and orchid soil, the soil ninja stuff, because it's what I'm more familiar with. It's what I would want it to be in later. Also, I did want to check all of the roots on these. I don't always repot things right away, but lately it has been something that I've wanted to do more and more, because I found that I'm better able to care for houseplants in soil that I'm familiar with, which I think makes sense. And I'm very familiar with the soil ninja stuff and like how often to water and how it works and how my plants grow in it. And so I've wanted to do that, as well as it's great to be able to check up on the roots. And I know some people say to not repot new houseplants like right when they've come in from the mail, but they've already gone through the trauma of going through the mail. Like, I'd almost rather them get double trauma right away than traumatize them, let them recover, and then traumatize them again, if that makes sense. So it's like less recovery in my thinking. And then the last one I've got in here, you saw that the Musa was in the cabinet, and that one, I've just decided not to quarantine it because I wanted to have it in the cabinet. It wouldn't fit in this box, so it's fine. The variegated Hartley philodendron, doing really, really well in here, proper filling out, definitely growing new leaves, and is very happy. I also wanted to see how many plants there were. I think there was like 4 or 5 different plants when I repotted it, so we're in a really great place with that, and I will be able to pop it into my other one soon. I didn't want to pop it into the other one right away, just in case there were any sort of issues or things going on, but now that I know it's fine, once I get back from Malvern, I will pop it into the other one, and then I'll just have 1 plant to deal with instead of 2, which would be my preferred. We can give this one the water that it needed. Just a little bit in there, not tons. Give it the water. And we can pop this back underneath the grow lights here. There we go. Alright, I'm here with an iced coffee on Wednesday afternoon, and I'm finally ready to do some moss pole things. Just a couple of things that I feel like would benefit from new poles. So the first one that I showed the other day in my favorites video, is my variegated Plemonii, which could be a crawler, but I'm gonna try and train it as a climber, if I possibly can, and I'm gonna do it on a front opening moss pole because that's gonna be the easiest way, I think, to do it. And then I've also got my Anthurium SP Lemon, which has definitely graduated the pole that it's on. Could probably use something a wee bit bigger, and I have bigger poles, so I've got a couple here, and they're both the exact same style, but they're from different people. So this first one, the smaller one, is Plant Scraper, and I think I'm going to use this for the Plemonii. And then, oh gosh, I really don't know how to pronounce this. Smooky? Smooky? Is that what it's pronounced as? And it's another EU brand, but they ship to the UK, whereas Plant Scraper don't, as far as I know, at the point of filming this. And this one's a little bit bigger. I thought it'd be perfect for, I mean, to be honest, it's not gonna be too small, but it's gonna be up to the top of this pole. So anyways, that is the current plan for right now, just to do a little bit of moss pole fun time. Oh, that is so satisfying. Let's do this side. Oh. Yeah, so nice. And poke out all of these. Fabulous. I think it makes the most sense to do this guy first, the Plemonii. And I can probably reuse the soil it's in, but I have some more just in case. Oh my goodness, this is rooted so well. So I got this as a cutting. And look at those roots. Oh, those are phenomenal. Cool. I think, is there a certain way to do this? Bend it that way. I think the easiest thing would just be to go straight in with it, and I will actually attach it to the pot, because y'all know me, I like my poles attached to the pots. I've got one that I've already got a couple holes in, but I think that will help it. You know, are they too far apart? Maybe. I'm gonna need to solder holes in it anyway, so I may as well do some new holes. Okay. But, oh my god, y'all, I am just, this week, I am stressed. Just with Malvern coming up, I'm just getting the, like, massive amounts of anxiety about my show garden and stuff, and I'm getting, like, all these last minute deliveries, which is great, but it's also stressful, because, like, I want everything to be good and stuff running late and blah blah blah. It's gonna be fine, but I'm stressed about it. And I'm losing a bit of sleep, unfortunately, which I'm not surprised about in the slightest, because, like, I know that whenever I have, like, a big project or something, I get super duper stressed out and I start losing sleep, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it is just who I am, and I can get over it. Come on. It's good plastic smoke. Yeah, fine. And then we can zip tie this in. But yeah, I'm just like constantly anxious at the minute, which is not the most fun thing for me. No one likes being anxious, but it has just been my constant at the minute. Can we go in? Why aren't we going in the hole? There we go. But things are slowly coming together. I have my like massive pile of like stuff just hanging out in the office at the minute. And like the list is ever growing of like stuff I need to bring. I need to make sure I bring like my drill and my toolbox and like Sharpies and tape and all this stuff, which I know I can probably get up there if I need it, but like if I can avoid spending extra money on this, I would prefer that. Probably unsurprisingly, because like this whole project isn't cheap. And yeah, it's been great that we've had like grant money. It's been amazing we've had grant money, otherwise I would not have been able to afford this. But we've gone over that target number, and at this point I'm just paying for it out of pocket, which is fine, and like I don't mind doing that at all. But like trying to be financially conscious where possible, and trying not to like wastefully buy supplies as well, because my whole thing is about sustainability. So like it doesn't really make sense for me to like just go and buy a bunch of stuff if I don't need to. If I have stuff at home, I want to be able to use that if I can first. Sorry. Okay, that's actually gone in really, really well there. I've just attached it in one spot, and I can do more as once this new leaf has come out. But this has been easy enough to get in, and I can probably get away with pretty much just using the soil that I already had in it. But yeah, I'm just like constantly afraid I'm going to forget something, which I know doesn't matter because I can, like I said, buy stuff, but I don't want to, and I want it to be perfect. I have the whole like vision of it and like the plans and stuff, and I want it to live up to those expectations. I have really, really high expectations of myself, always. Probably a bad thing, but like, you know, here we are. I've gotten this far and I'm pretty proud of how I've gotten there. But I just have high expectations of myself, and I really, really want this to go really well. And so I am like anxious and nervous about it, which is not a surprise at all because I care. I care and I want it to go well. And so it makes sense that I'm having a little bit of anxiety. There we go. And it can potentially even stay in this pot. It's not like perfect for it. It goes above it a little bit, but some marsh, it will do. So that was the easy one, and I did that one first because I figured it might be a little bit cleaner because I'm going to have to probably cut the SP limon out of the pole, because this guy is certainly rooted in here, like no doubt about it, rooted in here. And this isn't one of the easier polls. And so it's going to be probably a more difficult process to get it out. But I'll just take it slow and go easy on myself. No need to rush anything. There's loads of ants in this one. I was not prepared for that mentally. Ugh. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So we're currently having an issue with ants in our home, and it's not to do with us leaving food out or anything. I think they live in the walls of like the whole building, and like there's just nothing we can do to get rid of them. Like we've tried everything, and they are all up in my plant, which is frickin' disgusting. It makes me feel really gross. I'm not gonna reuse this soil then. I know it's not a problem, and I know they're just ants, so it doesn't matter, but like, I also don't want them just like going everywhere, which they already are. Okay, use your brain, Emma, use your brain, use your brain, use your brain. Dunk it in a giant bowl of water, is what my brain is saying. Should I do that? I'm gonna do that. Okay. So I've got my cup of water and a bowl. Try and kill as many of these on the mat as I can. Okay. And we just go drown it. Drown. Drown, 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 drown. Everywhere. This has also been like massively stressing me out, having these ants and like not being able to do anything about it. I guess it's a good thing I'm doing this then, even though I don't particularly want to. Better get them gone than not. Okay. I guess that will do for now, and we can see if we can try and get this off. And I can rinse it again afterwards and like give it a really thorough rinse in the sink even. And I'll just toss this soil and this moss. I might move this out the way though. because I don't want ants to get on that if I can help it. Oh. But because I am taking all of this moss off pretty much, I probably don't need to cut it out of the pole. I might need to cut the metal, and honestly that wouldn't be the worst thing if I did, because I do have more of the plastic coated wire mesh, so it's not the end of the world if that does need to happen, but I would prefer to save it if I possibly can. This is hella rooted, which is awesome. Like, I couldn't have asked for better roots on this. There we go. Look at all of those. Those are fantastic. But like I said, gonna give these another rinse in case there are any more ants on here. I don't think there are, but better safe than sorry, I guess. Well, that was unexpected, but, you know, I guess better to find out now than later. And I've hopefully dealt with it accordingly by killing as many as possible. The annoying thing is I was hoping to use that pot for this pole, but not going to do that now. So I will grab myself a new pot to put this one in. Maybe I can get one that fits slightly better, and we can pot her up. I feel like that's probably the best bet. And again, we will need to solder some holes in here really quick. Fab. Fab, fab, fab. And I think I'm gonna fill this pole as I go, because I have to do it around all those roots. I guess we can start with a layer on the bottom of moss, like at the back. So that the roots have as much as possible to connect to. And I think I'm gonna need to go all the way up with this. Okay, and then we can pop this in on that side and try and get the roots into that moss area. Maybe I will just undo this one. Yeah, that's easier. So just gonna put as much as possible underneath. Get as many roots in there as I can. Okay, and then same with this one. just gonna put more moss in, kind of around those roots that were out. Make sure there's enough moss in the pole in general. We can try to connect them up a little bit. Honestly, it doesn't even matter if I've buried the stem, because then the roots can just come out of it anyways. Gonna do a bit more stuffing of moss where it's looking slightly more empty. The one thing I dislike about front opening moss poles is they are just a lot more difficult regardless of the sort of make that you get them. They are just generally more difficult to pop together because they, I suppose, like, don't have to stick, like, attach the plant with the pole. But I find, like, why wouldn't I, if it has built-in things to put it in, why wouldn't I use it to attach, you know? Like, it doesn't make sense not to. And I could probably use this, I'll use this on the smaller one, and I'll get a slightly bigger cup for this one because it doesn't need to be a super duper small one. And then we can go in with some anthurium and orchid soil. Because that's what it was in before, and I know it likes that. Sorry, I thought I'd be able to, like, chat more while doing this, but the ants really, they freaked me out, and so now I can't. Like, there's this just, like, the stress that's, it's kind of paralyzing me a little bit. Like, the other day, it must have been yesterday, I didn't really, I didn't have, like, talking in me, hence why I didn't really talk during the eclipse from yesterday. I mean, I guess I did film, but that was only, like, a short film, so it was fine. And I, like, knew what I was gonna say, whereas this, it's, like, more of a chatty repot. I don't have something, like, planned. I don't have, like, not that any of my videos are scripted, but, like, I didn't have a plan for what I was gonna talk about. Or I did have a plan yesterday. I don't have a plan here now. Or, like, just when I'm randomly doing plant chores, I don't plan what I'm gonna say, for the most part. And so it's just like I end up not being able to say things because I just don't feel like I've got the brain power to multitask much at the minute, because it's already multitasking, thinking about all of the different things that need to get done. So it can't triple multitask, if that makes sense. There we go. That should be good enough. And I just need to, like, wipe the leaves off a little bit, because also The other thing about these poles is they are much messier because the moss doesn't stay in as much. It's not held in like it is in the like wire mesh D-shaped poles, and so it's just a messier thing. Hopefully it'll like compact enough that it's fine and I can make sure I water it when I water everything tomorrow. I'm not gonna actually water either of these today because I may as well just do it tomorrow when I'm watering everything before I go away. Does that make sense? Like, it doesn't need it right now. Neither of them are dehydrated, you know? So it should be absolutely fine. I will, however, grab a cloth and give this one a bit of a wipe. So there we go with these two, and I'm going to put this one back in the cabinet where it's been living, probably where it's probably going to get more ants again. Hopefully it doesn't. And then this one back in the bedroom where I've had it on my Vitsto shelves in there. You know what I didn't think about, but I probably should have. Yeah, that's not gonna fit on here anymore. Okay, where else could I put this one? I kind of feel like my only option is to go in here. But it's not my favorite because I did just clear out the cabinet quite a bit. So it kind of sucks to be putting more in again. Like I said, it's not my favorite, but I guess it'll be fine for now. And I just need to like be able to keep an eye on the Jacqueline to make sure it's not getting too squished or underwatered since it's behind this now. Okay, good morning. It is Thursday morning. It is my last day here before I go away, and I'm only a little bit really stressed. But what I've done this morning so far is I've treated the spider mite corner, and normally I wouldn't do that in the morning, just because, like, I don't want any sort of sun that comes in to burn the plants, but I feel like the sun doesn't come around properly enough until like about midday. And it's only 9 now, so I've done it before 9 a.m. And it's also warm enough that I think it's going to evaporate off quite quickly, so I don't think I need to worry about these plants getting sunburned. It's a risk. it's absolutely a risk. Maybe I shouldn't have done it, but I just like don't have time to wait until later just because I have got so much to do. Gotta like pack and everything and like yeah, so, and like do the big water. That's probably the last thing I'm gonna do in this video, just because that's the last thing I typically do before I go away on holiday, is the big water. But got a few other sort of smaller things to do today. Gotta wrap those moss poles that I can wrap. I will want to wrap them because if they can stay hydrated, that would be better. They are still feeling quite moist, which is nice. I don't need to stress about it, but I will wrap them and then water them this evening with the big water. So yeah. I'm only a little bit really stressed out, but it's fine. It'll all get done. It doesn't help that it's the hottest day this year so far. And like I'm just generally warm. I'm just generally too hot and a little bit sweaty, but that's okay. We've got this. I'm going to do a little bit more editing this morning and then we can carry on with some more plant chores. It is time to cling film, and I really hope I have enough cling film to do the wrapping of the moss poles. So I don't think I'm going to do very... Oh, I've attached this, I forgot. Da-da-da-da. Okay, now I can pull this down. Yeah, buddy. So, like I say, I'm probably not going to do all of them. Just because I don't have, I don't need to do all of them. It is not necessary. Can we not stand up on our own at all? So, what I've actually been recommended to do is to cut the cling film in half so it's not as wide width-wise, and it'll make it easier to kind of fit into the gaps, which I don't know how easy this is going to be to cut. It'd probably be easier if I could just like saw the whole roll in half, but I can't really do that easily. Okay, that's actually working pretty well. I can kind of just tear it. So I first did this, oh gosh, maybe like last year sometime. I first tried out this hack, but I find it works really, really well for the plants that don't have, gosh, it's really annoying that cling film is so clingy. I know it's like kind of the point of it, but it makes it hard to work with sometimes. I'm just going to start going around the pole, the front and the back of it, with the cling film in order to like trap the moisture into the pole a bit. That's kind of the whole point of this as a hack. And I honestly had this one in particular, the dubia, wrapped up like this for months. And I found it really, really, really helped keep the moisture in, even when I was home. The only thing is I just don't like the look of the wrapped pole. It's not my favorite thing to look at. But if it does the job, especially if I'm going to be away and not looking at the plant, then like, do I even care? No. And actually, I am finding it quite a lot easier to work with the plastic that's cut in half, because when I did this before, I was using full-size pieces, and I would basically just have to scrunch them down quite a lot in order for them to fit between the nodes of the plant. Because basically you're covering all the internodal space. it is just a slightly slower process when I can't just like wind it around whole, because that would make it a lot easier. And this pole is much bigger than when I last did this. And like I mentioned earlier as well, this kind of only works for plants that don't have tons and tons of leaves on them, because it would be impossible to weave in and out of the leaves of like something like my Glorious there, or my Repotting tetrasperma, or even my Cebu Blue. None of those, like all of them are too, it's just, they're too full to be able to make it work. Whereas my Dubia is, well, she's just got one stem, which is great, because she doesn't need more, but also it means that I can much more easily, or it allows me to wrap the pole instead of having to knot. So, very slowly getting here with this. It does take time, but like I said, I do recommend it if you can do it, because it just makes life so much easier. And then I like genuinely don't worry about this one at all, water-wise, while I'm gone. I am almost there. You can secure it more down with like tape as well. I don't really feel the need to do that because like it's cling film. It clings to itself quite well. So I don't really need to worry about it for this one in particular. But if I had, because in the US, I feel like there's just plastic wrap, which it doesn't cling to itself. It's not as like sticky as this stuff, or at least the stuff that we had when I was growing up wasn't as sticky like this. And so it like didn't do the job of sticking to itself, and I would have needed tape in order to get it to stay. Okay. I feel like that is good and will do the job nicely. It's definitely not like 100% sealed. There are points basically where the leaves come out where I'm not sealing it fully. I could go back around and put smaller pieces over the tops of that, but you know, just tiny little holes. It's going to stay more hydrated like this than it otherwise would have. So I'm feeling good about that one. Also, if you're going for a particularly long time, I would suggest covering the top of the moss as well, because like moisture can escape through that. But I mean, 10 days, it should be absolutely fine. Also, hi Cleo. Hi. Hi. And we can put her back in here. The other one I'm tempted to do is the Majestic, just because I feel like while it has definitely a lot more leaves in there, I feel like it's just much more possible space-wise to fit in. I don't know, I just feel like it would be fine. So I'm going to wrap up the Majestic as well, as long as I have enough cling film. Hopefully I do. This one's definitely going to be a lot more difficult leaf-wise, but I think I can get it to work. I'll just have to be like slightly more creative. Also, this pole is thicker, so we'll require more plastic to go all the way around it. On this one, I have left room for the top sprout things because I want them to be able to grow and not get trapped in here if they need to come out. And I did kind of cover the top with this one, so I might water it really quick and then kind of close it off. Ah. I told you I was a messy waterer, I wasn't lying. Doesn't help that there's cling film everywhere. And then I can kind of just cover over that. It's not like, again, perfectly sealed, but it will do for now. And we can put you back there. And honestly, I feel like all of my other moss poles are just a little bit too complicated to go in with cling film. They just have too many leaves poking out randomly that it's not as easy. The Majestic was hard enough as it is, so I'm glad I was able to do that one, but it's okay. I feel like the Mandula pothos, it can also tolerate getting a little bit drier. I'm like not worried about it. And same with like the Raphidophora tetrasperma, my Tycon, which I'm putting out an incredible new leaf, which I'm not gonna be able to see until I get back, but this one, I'll make sure that the pole is wet before I go, but it doesn't need the water, if that makes sense. It's big watering time. Are you ready? I'm not. I've got a lot of watering to do. I've got to do the whole friggin' house, but it's okay. I can do it. I think I'm just gonna like power through it. Really rush. I'm not gonna put fertilizer in here because I can't be bothered, but just making sure everything is full and topped up and nice and moist for the time we're away. I think luckily it's not supposed to be as hot as this week, next week, and the following. So hopefully it won't be as bad. Honestly, I have faith in my plants. They're much hardier than like a lot of people give them credit for. So let's go. blooming. Look at that. Oh my goodness. That's cute. I mean, I don't know if it's like finished and closed back up or not like fully bloomed yet. Either way, I've missed it, but like, oh, so exciting and very cute. Oh, you want to come say bye, baby? Cleo, come here. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I am so hot and so sweaty. It is still probably like 25 degrees in my house, which is like, I think 70 something. But yeah, very, 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 very hot, which is fun. But like I said, I think it's supposed to cool down in the next couple days, so I don't need to worry about it much anymore, but everything is watered. Everything is nice and watered, and that's it. That's all I can do before I go away. Getting up really early tomorrow morning and just gonna go, which is so exciting. I'm so excited to go to Malvern and actually put up my freaking show garden. It's gonna be great. But thank you for watching this video. I really hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below and leave a comment on other houseplanty things you'd like me to talk about in the future. Listen to Cleo purr. And subscribe for more. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to keep growing. Bye!